Imagine going outside on a warm summer day in hopes to see sunlight filter through green, luscious leaves from branches that reach toward the sky. Instead, you see trees stripped of their leaves like in the dead of winter. You notice the trees, ground, buildings, and every outdoor surface is crawling with caterpillars. And now you are covered in caterpillar droppings as they fall from the trees like rain. Touching a caterpillar leaves a stinging rash. Sadly, you realize you won't spend any time outside until the caterpillar scourge passes. As far-fetched as this may sound, that's the situation people in Washington could face each year if spongy moth becomes established. Spongy moth was brought to the United States by an amateur entomologist named Leopold Trouvelot almost 150 years ago. While he intended to keep the moths captive, some escaped and began wreaking havoc on the environment. Since then, spongy moth has become permanently established in more than 20 states, where it has killed or damaged millions of acres of trees. In those states, they can only hope to slow, not stop, its spread. While the moths get a bad rap, it's really the caterpillars that cause the problems. Here are 13 reasons why spongy moths and their offspring are bad news. Infestations reduce tourism, increase pest control, and restrict tree exports, which can cost billions. Swaths of trees are lost in local, state, and national parks. Picture a bare Hoh rainforest or Mount Rainier National Park. Millions of caterpillars are crawling and even dropping on you outside. Spongy moths like to hitch rides on ships docking in ports, motorhomes traveling across the country, and even patio furniture being moved. Spongy moth's speedy tree consumption reduces food and shelter for wildlife, including threatened species. Once spongy moth gains a foothold, it is impossible to get the pest to leave. You are stuck paying to treat and remove trees and possible medical bills from the caterpillars. Caterpillars can cause rashes or blisters and respiratory irritation. One moth can lay up to 1,000 eggs, so a population can quickly get out of control. Defoliating trees stresses them out. Some trees can recover, while others may die. They're environmental wrecking balls, damaging tree canopies, which degrade stream quality, fuel forest fires, and become hazards for hikers. So much caterpillar poop that it falls from trees like rain. Deciduous trees die from multiple infestations, but evergreen trees can die from just one. Spongy moths pose a tremendous threat to the health of Washington's ecosystem, economy, and community. Now that we know just how damaging spongy moths can be, let's see what they look like. In the spring, spongy moth caterpillars emerge from fluffy egg masses and begin to feed. Up to 3 inches long, the hairy spongy moth caterpillar has a yellow head. On its back is a telltale sign: 5 pairs of blue spots, followed by 6 pairs of red spots. The caterpillars form a cocoon when they eat their fill, emerging in 2 weeks as adult moths. Adult males are tan to brown, with dark wavy lines on their wings and large feathery antennae. The larger female is an off-white color. Her wings also have dark wavy lines. Females lay egg masses on trees and outdoor surfaces. The masses are brownish-orange to white and remain through the winter, ready to hatch and start the cycle again in the spring. However, don't be fooled by common imposters. Both the tent caterpillar and the fall webworm create web tents in trees. which the spongy moth caterpillar does not create. They also lack the distinctive red and blue spots of the spongy moth caterpillar. The Washington State Department of Agriculture has been protecting Washington's environment from spongy moth for more than 50 years. The Department of Agriculture sets traps each summer. The traps attract the male by scent, and a sticky surface prevents them from escaping. When detected, the Department of Agriculture plans for the best way to control the moths. When determining the control method, one factor to consider is the type of moth. 2 kinds of spongy moths have been found in Washington state. One type where the females can fly, and one where they can't. Both are extremely destructive. Flighted spongy moth females can spread more rapidly. The flighted spongy moth also eats many more types of trees, including evergreens. Once a proposed control plan is developed, the Department of Agriculture conducts public outreach and begins an environmental assessment. Public input is an important part of the process, and it's used to develop the final treatment plan. Once a plan is finalized, it's time to treat designated areas for spongy moth. BTK is a naturally occurring soil bacteria applied as a biological insecticide in organic farming. It effectively controls caterpillars while remaining safe for water supplies, bees, plants, animals, and us. The product 4A48B utilizes BTK to be a selective and safe choice for spongy moth treatments. The Washington State Department of Health examined 4A48B and determined it does not pose concern to human health. After treatments are completed, high-density trapping in the area is conducted for 3 years to confirm that spongy moth has successfully been eliminated. You can help protect our state from this invasive pest. Here's how. When possible, traps are placed on public property. However, sometimes the Department of Agriculture needs to place traps on private property to ensure trap coverage is adequate for moths to be captured. If you see traps, do not disturb them. If spongy moth is discovered in your area, don't move outdoor items like patio furniture, firewood, or RVs off your property without thoroughly checking for signs of spongy moth first. If you think you've seen a spongy moth, take a photo, note the location, and report it. Visit WSDA's website to report and learn more about spongy moths and other ways to help. At the Washington State Department of Agriculture, we care about maintaining a healthy ecosystem today and for future generations. With your help, we can keep Washington free of invasive pests and preserve our environment for years to come.